Isles Hunting Country. Let us help you find the right shotgun or rifle for you. Or if you're looking for a pistol or concealed carry, we have a nice selection of compact and subcompact pistols for that too. Check out our website at www.libertiesguardian.com. That website again is www.libertiesguardian.com. Go to the website and check out our selection today.
We all need to prepare ourselves. You might have the food, water, gold, and silver, but ask yourself, are you truly prepared? That's why you need to visit MaineMilitary.com. MaineMilitary.com carries everything you need. Gas masks, fire starter kits, high-capacity magazines, chemical suits, military surplus items, and much more. Do you own a firearm? MaineMilitary.com has a large selection of pistols and rifles suited for your needs. Are your local stores sold out of ammunition? Call or visit them today for prices on hard-to-find ammo and bulk ammo orders. You don't need to worry about having a military surplus store in your area because MaineMilitary.com is the only store you'll ever need, all from the comfort of your computer. Visit them online today at MaineMilitary.com. That's Maine, like the state, military.com.
I had a dream the other night that, well, I didn't understand. A figure walked in through the mist with a flintlock in his hand. His clothes were torn and dirty as he stood there by my bed. He took off his three-cornered hat, and speaking low to me, he said, "We fought a revolution to secure our liberty. We wrote the Constitution as a shield from tyranny. For future generations, this legacy we gave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. The freedoms we secured for you, we hoped you to always keep. But tyrants labored endlessly while your parents were asleep. Your freedom's gone, your courage lost. You're no more than a slave. In this, the land of the free and home of the brave. You buy permits to travel and permits to own a gun, permits to start a business or to build a place for one. On land that you believe you own, you pay a yearly rent, although you have no voice in saying how the money's spent. Your children must attend a school that doesn't educate, and your Christian values can't be taught according to the state. You read about the current news in a regulated press, and you pay a tax you do not owe to please the IRS. Your money is no longer made of silver nor of gold. You trade your wealth for paper so your life can be controlled. You pay for crimes that make our nation turn from God and shame. You've taken Satan's number. You've traded in your name. You've given government control to those who do you harm so they could burn down churches and seize the family farm and keep our country deep in debt, put men of God in jail, harass your fellow countrymen while corrupted courts prevail. Your public servants don't uphold the solemn oaths they've sworn, and your daughters visit doctors so their children won't be born. Your leaders send artillery and guns to foreign shores and send your sons to slaughter fighting other people's wars. Can you regain the freedoms for which we fought and died? Or don't you have the courage or the faith to stand with pride? And are there no more values for which you'll fight to save? Or do you wish your children to live in fear and be a slave? O sons of the Republic, arise, take a stand, defend the Constitution, the supreme law of the land. Preserve our great republic and each God-given right. Pray to God to keep the torch of freedom burning bright. As I awoke, he'd vanished in the mist from whence he came. His words were true. We are not free, but we have ourselves to blame. For even now as tyrants trample each God-given right, we only watch and tremble, too afraid to stand and fight. If he stood by your bedside to dream while you were asleep and wondered what remains of the freedoms he'd fought to keep, what would be your answer if he called out from the grave? Is this still the land of the free and home of the brave? God bless you. God bless this republic.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Evening Intelligence Report. I'm Art Kernke.
I'm Larry Lawson.
One day closer to victory for all of our brothers and sisters, both on and behind the lines in occupied territories, south, southwest, east, and north. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to us on Libertytreeradio.4mg.com, Liberty Tree Radio on YouTube, and we are on AM and FM micro stations, CB base stations, and Ultranet, Hallmark, and Golden Spike Technologies, east and west of the Mississippi, along with Alaska. Good afternoon or evening to all of our friends out there in the lower 49, including the great state of Jefferson, CONUS, the outlying 2 states, the territories, and the clock. Somewhere it's midnight, somewhere it's midday. Larry, it's 8:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at the bottom of the state of Michigan and the Midwest, Eastern, of course. What is it like in your neck of the woods? What's the date today? What's jumping off the wall down there in the Old West, the real Old West? We now call it the Midwest. Go ahead.
27th of October, 2020 AD, and oh my God, Mark, the cases of corona are going up all over the place, and they want you to wear the masks and blah, 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 blah. Nobody's dying, of course, with a 99.9% survival rate, but, you know, they're trying to step it up and blah, blah, blah here. I don't know what it's like up there in Michigan, but I'm so sick of this. So sick of this crap. Mask today, vaccine tomorrow, and bear in mind that this piece of garbage that they're going to put back in, Epstein guilty Trump, gave Gates Gavi Group $1 billion and lots of praise, you know, for his vaccine that he wants the military to bring you with a powerful way. So it's just sickening. We're going to put this Epstein guilty piece of crap back in there. The script is already written, you know, the chaos is coming. They want a digital dollar. They want more and more control. And they want more and more of you dead and out of the way. So that's why they want this DNA-altering vaccine shoved down your throat. This is a global cull of the sheep. And if that don't do it, the food starvation that's coming will, you know, kick in too. They want a lot less of us here, folks, so I hope you're ready for what's coming. Chaos, food shortages, digital dollar, Marxist lockdowns, the whole 9 yards, and people cheering it on every step of the way. It's absolutely sickening. Anti-gun Trump. Wow, really? You know, the same guy that brought you the bump stock ban, pushes red flag laws, told Dianne Feinstein to take guns first, pass laws later. This is the piece of garbage that people are going to cheer on and put back in. It's just incredible. It almost reminds me of that Saturday Night Live long time ago with, who's the curly-headed guy that, I can't remember, the Jewish actor, curly-headed guy in glasses, and Penn and Teller? I don't know, I can't remember, but they had this fake election where they were smearing each other with different scandals back and forth, and it's
Joe Cagliani.
There, yes. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark.
Cagliani. Cagliani. And of course, well, that's the guy that was that was the opposition. Remember?
Right.
Yes, I know which one you're talking about because it kept escalating, and in the very end, what happens?
He was like,
Joe Cagliani comes up and whacks his hind end.
Right. The other guy, but yeah, I mean they showed him drugged out with girls and everything else. I mean it's almost that comical. It's
that kind of satire. Yes, exactly. And of course the whole Joe Cagliani, what are you doing here? Oh my God! Pop.
Very good.
That's when it goes. That's when he finally goes Hillary.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of Hillary, folks, bear in mind, never arrested. She's out there whining about how sick she is that Trump's back in. No, she's not. She's out there making money and still killing people and, free as a bird. and Barr's not arresting any of them. They're not even investigating any of them. Not investigating Hillary, not investigating home Obama, not investigating Biden. It's all one big happy family because they're all part of this Jewish kosher,
Well, here's what's cute, like you're talking about right now. Okay, everybody's hearing about the Biden this and Biden that. We've got pictures of him, all kinds of images that are grainy, images of whatever. And it's like, yeah, but there's been nothing where the FBI has slammed the book, slam dunked everything, and, they've got everything in hand. And, I mean, guys, they just love going gangbusters on, Americans, real Americans, regular Americans. I mean, look at the propaganda garbage and whatever they jumped right on going after those quote-unquote militia guys. But if you're burning down the country, you can go a whole year and they don't do anything about that. And then, of course, here you have the privately released garbage, for election consumption so that they can create the illusion there's some kind of dog and pony show fight going on. But in reality,
they're neck and neck, man. They're neck and neck. Even though they're showing up thousands at the Trump rallies and nobody's showing up at Biden's, just like Hillary. They're neck and neck, though. That's what they're telling you. Please.
They're playing the rubes. The rubes.
It's a scripted farce, is what it is. It's ridiculous. It's sick. They want to do fireworks and cheer this guy on. He's getting ready to set up a war with Iran, folks. Do you not get this? They're pushing for war with Iran and Venezuela and possibly even China. That's what you're putting back in office, this piece of garbage that told you that he was going to get our boys out of Syria and then put them back in to steal their oil. That's the piece of crap that you've got that's going to go back in there. It's sickening.
Again, he's run by the Israelis and owned by the... It's both of them are. I mean, the Jewish mob and the Chinese are joined at the hip. So remember that no matter what, however they play the angle on this, and I think as much as anything, it was the fake nonsense with the strength of Joe Biden. If that's your idea of strength, none of the people that are voting have any business being anywhere near a voting booth, but it's the idea you have to look at these people like, what are you seeing in this creature other than propaganda and whatever storyline has been generated? When the critter's in front of you, it is obvious that there is a significant problem with this person, a physical. Now, they're all admitting that really they just plan on bumping his corpse off to the side, and whoever's next in line, well, gee, who would that be? That's the commie meat puppet that will be used for the rest of the evil that they plan on plugging in. Now, we are only days away, a week away from, the event where the ring knockers behind the scenes decide to tell you who, through whatever fakery and numbers, won. But whichever way it goes, the problem is with the setup this time around, one way or another, the house is burning down. If they do decide to claim that, it's a miracle, Joe Biden won by, 1.2%. It was 51 to 48, and there was a bunch of people that were undecided, and it was so close, but Biden won. Now, if they do that, we all know we're heading to a war no matter what. So then it's the other way around. The other scam goes the other way. You still have the Republican burning down the Library of Congress in 5 days instead of 1. And, Larry, I don't know if you're familiar, but, guys, for everybody, again, over at Guns and Gadgets, watch the latest videos. The ATF, now, first of all, I'm going to do this. I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. The ATF, almost as quickly as when they got the bump stock ban signed by Donald Trump did that. The moment he created that arbitrary and capricious condition, the bat faggots immediately moved towards the short rifle claws, / read that, the AR-15 and AK pistols. Now, if you watch a few days back, or about 4 or 5 videos back, step by step, you'll see that, first they had an idea something was going on. They found out because of what happened with Q, with the Honey Badger pistol. But then it turns out that more people stepped up and said, this goes back before that and is as old as that. Lo and behold, now in the last 2 or 3 days, even more information has come forward, and it turns out this goes back until back to the beginning of the year. In other words, the bat faggots, as soon as they saw that they had an opportunity to, do a violation where they could, just use this, camel's nose to get in the tent, the bump stock ban, that has been the premise for all of their activity. Donald Trump did it. This is is Donald Trump's ATF, and they're going after another what? The estimate is varied depending upon which numbers in the industry you quote, but you're looking at a little under 4 million gun owners that overnight, in the stroke of a pen, just like the bump stock ban, now have a whole bunch of quote unquote AR-15 and AK handguns that are NFA category other weapons. In other words, all restricted like machine guns. Wow. But wait, the bat faggots saw them. Yep. And the bat faggots approved them. Yep. And they sold them over the counter. Yep. And then they decided to turn around and arbitrarily flip on this. So you have millions of gun owners who are, in their mind, in the government's, in the bureaucracy's mind. Notice I didn't say government. I had to throw that out. The bureaucracy's government, the bureaucracy's administration, the bureaucracy's mechanism is the one who flipped all of a sudden completely on 180 and is now declaring all of these things to be illegal / you need to be busted for them, you need to surrender them, you need to whatever. In between, in the last couple of videos, the author there at Guns and Gadgets explained that, they were already prepping for this by making it harder to turn around and register your pistol as a NFA light rifle and pay the taxes, short rifle, and pay the taxes on it, which is, I think, $100, whatever it is. Who cares? Doesn't make any difference. If it's 100 or 10, they're still going to come after you and try to put you in prison. Doesn't make any difference. And by making it difficult, because remember they had this big bureaucracy thing, well, make things simpler, streamline everything. Well, they did. And then the bat faggots turned around and made it grossly more complicated. So in other words, they went totally contrary to the rest of the bureaucracy and the administration as it was ordered by presidential directive. And the president is in charge of these people, despite what they try to claim. So it is Trump's fault that this has happened the way this has happened, period. You can't get around it. And it's all because of the arbitrary and capricious activity that he penned to paper, people. Now, it was either intentional or accidental. Well, I don't think that any of those people, they knew exactly. They weren't deceived. They knew exactly what they were doing when they did it. This wasn't any, Donald Trump did. No. Okay, Kirshner is the one who pushed this. And that little communist piece of filth is joined at the hip with a combination of Trump and Netanyahu. So they are systematically attacking the firearms owners, and they have been in motion. Another thing, a few days ago, at Guns and Gadgets, he said, well, they're going to back off for 60 days. Well, now it turns out while they claimed they were backing off, which, of course, as we told you, what's the basic rule about feds? They lie. Well, it turns out they really weren't backing off at all. So all this is in motion. Best place to go over to Guns and Gadgets, pull up the last several videos, watch every one of them, and by the way, do me a favor, share them. Share them over to my Mark Kornke page on Facebook. Please take the time. If you're listening and you're a regular listener and you're over on Facebook with me, do me a favor, go post those videos over on my Facebook page. That helps out. And again, saves me some time. You guys can do it for me. Anyway, Larry, go ahead, please.
Well, what's the Guns and Gadgets solution, or what are they recommending that people do?
Well, there's nothing they can, right now. In fact, the guy that actually has the channel, this is what he did. He thought, oh, okay, well, because the writing's on the wall, he figured he was going to do the paperwork to take his AR pistol and paper it with the bat faggots as an NFA short rifle, a short barrel rifle. Turns out, this is how he found out that they changed all the paperwork in advance. And the way they've got it set up is, it's most likely you're intentionally, you're not your fault, you're going to make a mistake, and you have to send the $100 fee in, and I believe, this is the part that I'd have to do more research myself, this is like working with a Secretary of Treasury's office. If you send them the $100, because that's kind of like a combination of administrative fee and tax, and you screw up on the paperwork, well, they send the paperwork back and tell you screwed up, but they don't send back your $100. Oh, do it again. Oh, do it again. Oh, do it again. See how that works? So And apparently this is already transpiring. He's already had issues with it. In fact, he was in the middle of the process. Watch the video. It's actually the one thing that it's what he warned everybody about. What we've warned everybody. I've told you before, guys, one way or another, this thing was planned. It's in motion. Trump is part of it. It is part of the progressive gun ban and gun confiscation and registration that they've been pushing. And while they're claiming, oh, look what the Biden are saying, all those guys are saying, well, Trump is the one who signed off on this thing that undermined completely any restrictions on the ATF whatsoever. Oh, and by the way, he doesn't know what his bureaucracy is doing. He's been president for 4 years, but he just doesn't know what's going on, don't you know? He just has no clue.
That's why he keeps putting in swamp creature after swamp creature after swamp creature. Really?
Right, into the regime.
Bolton, Esper, Gina Haspel. You know, he's the one that put Chrissy Ray in there. He's responsible for all these people. Elliot Abrams. He put Pompous in there. All of them are Israeli firsters. Look at Richard Grinnell, a gay faggot Israeli firster who attacked Julian Assange, made them the head chief of national security. Really? You know, these faggots used to be national security risks. Now he puts them in there. You know, it's sickening, folks. What Trump is sickening. If you had somebody that was an antichrist, he's got the perfect resume for it. Child molester, you know, a little Epstein buddy, hangs out with the antichrist Israelis. This is no Christian. He's not a Christian at all whatsoever. And yet he's out there talking about God, and you got all these Christians that are backing him. Morons. He's not one of you. Hitler talked and played with the Christians and then turned around and whacked them. I mean, that's what this guy is. He's scum. He's always been scum.
Well, I think the interesting thing right now, is with the situation the way that it is for a lot of our people, I think nobody's really shocked, amazed, or surprised by what we're seeing. Hopefully, if you've been listening to what I've been saying, all this does is confirm that not only was the original window of activity, something which I argued taking place, but a lot of the people in the industry knew about it, but they weren't telling anybody because, well, they didn't want to upset the business. So again, this is where you can't really even count on these characters where you say, well, these guys are all pro-gun. Yeah, only to the degree where it satisfies their wallet, which is understandable. They're in a business. For them, it's a business. Most of the people that are in the firearms industry, a lot of them nowadays, aren't interested in the firearms industry. They'd be running a bra plant today. They'll be running a gun plant tomorrow, and after next week, they'll be back to lipstick. Okay, that's the problem you got with a lot of these characters. They do not have the wherewithal or the interest in the core belief system of the country. They are globalist mercenaries. They're parasites just flitting from one location to the next. And that's where you see this inside the system and what's been going on. Plus, everybody has the cop shop mentality. The cops like me. The bat faggots like. I know they love me. They let me do this and they let me do that and they let me in. Wait a minute, but now they're biting me in the ass. You know, these characters talk themselves into these idiot stick niches, and then when stuff like this happens, it's like, why? How? Well, because you're dealing with feces birds, sir. It's that simple. You're dealing with scum, parasites, turds. And that's where we are with the critters that we're facing. The big thing is, again, what can we do? Number one, as was recommended by the honey badger rifle producers, they were actually pistols. They weren't rifles, they were pistols, is to disassemble the thing, take it apart. Now, here's my problem with that. This is what the bat faggots have done forever. Now, if you demilitarize it, disassemble it, doesn't make any difference. It's the old story, once a machine gun, always a machine gun. Once an NFA weapon, always an NFA weapon. Of course, in this case, they had to overturn their own rulings to do this, to make all of those gun owners illegitimate. But that was the plan. That's making business for the profiteers. If we understand that all of the alphabet soup agencies are pirate organizations, then you're doing fine. If you make the foolish mistake of thinking that they're in any way, shape, or form there to protect America, they are not. In fact, look at it this way. You ever watch the Pirates of the Caribbean movie series? You know, the progressive series of movies? Larry, you've seen them, right?
Yep.
And they're so funny because they've got so many dark humor components in them. But if you pay attention, there's the one, eventually they start showing you more and more of the big picture. And the Jewish ring knockers love doing this. Okay, the Jewish ring knockers are globalist banking pirates. Oh, pirates. And if you pay attention, there's that one movie where they all come together, and all the pirates from the different points of the world came together there, didn't they? And they all met, and they all went along with each other. Of course, they were a little vicious to each other here and there. There's some, gratuitous violence thrown in there to make you fear the pirates / international bankers. And they get into conflict with the British Crown and the British Crown Corp. And what do? Well, they flip-flop on them, but then they also attack them overtly in force, don't they? And so the Jewish pirates all converge on and destroy that one corporation that for a time the sun never set on. Now the parasite flits from one host to another. That parasite is now planning on doing to America those pirates that they did to England before. You remember, pirates. Wasn't that funny? Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah, it was some more of that concealed truth.
Right.
Almost open truth.
Yeah, right in your face. I mean, right out in your face. If you pay attention, and of course they're all flying their pirate standards, the whole 9 yards. And each one's different, by the way. Well, of course they are. So are the 10 international banking, mobster families that took over and destroyed intentionally the legitimate banking system of America as a free and independent state. Right. So just a little heads up, people. Again, Pirates of the Caribbean, in fact, there are so many sub-elements of that where literally they are laughing their ass off at the goy because they put it right in front of you. Well, what about the poor little peons that got caught? Well, when the Jewish mobsters get caught doing what they're doing, they usually get caught and probably dragged off and, hung or, executed for their dirty deeds. But they are still a consortium, and so there's a camaraderie there. They showed you all the aspects of the kosher international banking system and all of the minions and subcomponents that help to make the infrastructure of the thievery by a minority against the rest of the population. Isn't that fun when Hollywood, made up of the same kosher mafia, can help to support and kind of show you the history of their other brethren in the other industry? Right, the usury industry, where you have the vaudeville / dog and pony show, pickle smoke and mirrors, circus crew, can put it right out in everybody's face. They figured out how to engineer it and such, and then put it right out there. Kind of give you a history of how things worked, but then also show you what they plan on doing to you in the process. Boy, Gewalt. And so we're on the edge of the cusp of the shipwreck and of the falderall that's going on. There's supposed to be lots of confusion. Then we're supposed to go, jump in bed with the police state, where the police state then sideways turns like it did with Katrina. And after all, you people that all own property and have guns need to surrender your guns to Donald Trump's ATF and FBI so you can prove your loyalty to the big blue. Now, as long as you do that, you'll be kept with a doggy treat until they get all the weapons, and then after that, they don't have to negotiate with you because you're disarmed. Look at England, look at Canada, look at Australia. And I ain't talking 10, 20 years ago. I'm talking right now. What kind of a shipwreck are they in? What are they doing in Australia right now to the people with the corona beer virus scam? Why, they're rounding people up and taking them to camps, people.
That's what they're getting ready to do in Canada, too.
Yeah. If I were a Canadian, I'd just find myself some management people and start putting holes in them because you got nothing to lose and everything to gain. You might as well just be, the running Klingon at night with a knife. How many can you poke? How many can you slit before, you're done? because, you know, you got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Slave or free, which will you be? And, of course, they started it with all of these Commonwealth areas and all of those still under the Crown. Now, technically, they believe that we're under that. You know, people would argue, well, we are under the Crown. Well, possession, as I've said a million times, is 9/10 of the law. And right now, we're armed to the teeth. And with everybody knowing how to use their weapons. Now, for all the idiot stick secret police out there, but especially there's a bunch of idiot sticks in the military who actually are gobbling this stuff up, and they're laughing about how they're going to roll over the peasant civilians in America. That's what they're pushing in the Guard right now. That's what they're pushing in the military right now. We're all just those peasants. We're the civilians. Well, how many of you listening spend any time or a significant amount of time in that same military? I don't think you've lost any of your skills. In fact, you learned quite a few that they haven't caught up to yet. So as far as, again, them getting away with it, it still comes down to, well, we have as many weapons, and in fact, we have better weapons we perfected to our personal needs, far superior to most everything that they're carrying. And anything that they've developed or are developing or trying to get ready to deploy, we're the ones who help to make it happen. So you all have the skills and, in fact, exceed in the skill potential of the aggressor before you, plus you grossly outnumber them. That's why the only option they have is to bring the Chinese in or to bring in any of the foreign forces, which they will. Shame on the fools that are stupid enough to follow orders like from Poland or the Czech Republic or any of the European countries. Shame on you if you come over here. If you do, well, you will die.
I certainly hope they bring them.
Yeah, the Chinese are dead out of policy. They're just not going to make it. Yeah, I figure if you were willing to follow the orders of the communists, and they're already so soaked in Sovietization over there, they're just gone. They're just not going. They're not going back to where they came from. We have to exterminate any Chinese forces. They're exterminated. But I will remind you again: if there was a handful of Chinamen down the street, and they're all standing there with somebody else giving them orders, maybe a couple of euros, and then there's a couple or 3 or 4 Americans, and one of them is making all kinds of point this way and comments that way, who would you shoot first and make sure you shot hardest? Those Americans working
the so-called American.
Yeah, those ones that are down there in the American uniforms that are working with the Chinese and the Euros. Why? Well, those Americans, if they slunk off into the shadow, could rip their clothes off and hide. Those Chinese and those foreign troops, not so much. So I'm telling you what the priority is to shoot first. Doesn't mean you won't kill the Chinese. But, you know, it's the old story, business before pleasure. Business before pleasure. Any of them that drank the Kool-Aid and are going along with the foreign forces, they're finished. That's all there is to it. And I'd say that straight to anybody. Anybody cooperating, working with a foreign force on American soil and either working as a Kit Carson scout or commanding them, well, his ass is grass and the lawnmower, or her, his or her, or its ass is grass and the lawnmower is going through it. And that you will see shortly. If they kick this off, there's a couple of things. I know I'm going to comment this tonight again. Larry, I know you probably saw it's a 32-second video of what is supposed to be a Chinese column in Canada.
I did not see that.
If you haven't seen it, guys, you might track it down. There's some oblique. Somebody listening can probably post it over in the messenger section or post it on my page over on Facebook. And or over at, tell you what, really where you need to go and start hooking up with is Spreely.com, 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 Spreely.com. Go over there, it's free, set up a page, start cranking stuff out, and putting anything and everything in there you can. Now, the thing that I pointed out yesterday about this video, I can't get a confirmation on location exactly, the way we should. I'm not going to talk so much about the sit rep as it is just the idea that, guys, if you're taking pictures, we need, again, the date. If you're going to show an image and say, I saw this in Canada, in this day and age, we've got digital everything. I want you to tell me and show me a Google Map imagery from above of that road and a Google Map satellite. See, the reason I say Google, there's no restriction on that stuff. It's all public. And this road was a dirt road, apparently, or at least looked to be. Again, it was a secondary road. The guy turns, the troops are on the right-hand side of the road, and one thing I noticed, no helmets, no headgear. For a military unit, typically, again, you wear a cover. But none of them were wearing a cover. They all had black, Asian black hair. They look to be Chinese, but the one copy I've seen over the other, the digital quality progressively is getting fuzzier / Bigfootish. But the uniform itself, it looks to be the Tibetan Tarn type uniform. It's in that color range, and it looks like it is that uniform, Chinese military. It's a good uniform. I'd like to collect a bunch of them off their corpses or out of their backpacks. But other than that, the unique uniform in and of itself, something especially in the brown range like that, you can easily go through the Chinese military inventory and find what I'm talking about. Compare notes, do cross-references. It's not that hard. Let your fingers do the walking through the internet pages. Now, these are supposed to be in British Columbia, and the people that have done the work are arguing that Trudeau, last year, 2019, signed an agreement which allows Chinese companies that have investment capital or interests or foreclosure interests to be able to bring military force to bear inside Canada, to bring forces in for operational security, for securing foreclosed or controlled properties, etc., etc., etc. An excuse to put communist Chinese troops, boots on the ground on Canadian soil. Now, the Canadians now know something about this, so there's more noise being made. In the meantime, let's not forget we have can heads here in Michigan, and I've already walked you through this more than a few times about the special dispensation. Last year, we had a special signature event where a Canadian military commander was signing for his government a treaty / special arrangement for deployment. Now, who the hell is this asshat to sign off on anything like that? That's not the bureaucracy, quote unquote, of the government, but if it's a police state occupation / a war powers occupation of the United States, this character, as a Canadian military, is working as a de facto foreclosure officer against the American people as property. Now, consider this. They've got the agreement to be able to bring Canadian forces into Michigan already. That's done. And they've had it there for quite some time. This was just a reinforcing of other existing instruments already in place. But now tie this in. The Chinese are now joined at the hips with the Canadians. The Canadians are already joined at the hips with the Michigan National Guard and other militaries, to include Pennsylvania, Ohio, New York, Wisconsin, and Minnesota, to be able to come in across the border. The Chinese are attached as a de facto extension of the Canadian UN military, and they ride in on the shirt tail agreement of the Canadians against America. You want somebody to walk you through it? I just walked you through it. It's very straightforward. It's the camel's nose thing, just like Trump. Okay, let's put it this way. Well, they couldn't do it that way. Donald Trump signs the bump stock ban. The bump stock ban overturns rule of corporate law, and all of a sudden, anything goes, and lo and behold, as I told you back when it happened, everybody said, oh, they wouldn't do that. Donald Trump won't do that. Donald Trump did just exactly that. Not just with the bump stocks, but with the attack on the other gun owners now. Period. This is Donald Trump's administration. This is Donald Trump's government. He's been president for 4 full stinking years, and I have to keep emphasizing that. How soon before you finally become president of the United States? What, 8 years down the road? You keep doing they're betraying. They're not telling the truth. They're not. Okay, what it comes down to is basically you're making excuses for an asshat who, by the way, has managed billion-dollar operations but doesn't have a clue, but he has this big chess game, 3D, Parcheesi game going on. I'll say I didn't say chess. 3D Parcheesi, man. Oh, I know what you mean. It's right there next to 3D tic-tac-toe. Wow. So heads up, because there's a bunch of stuff that's been plugged in all at once. It is definitely in motion, and they are very serious on their side about it. I would suggest you all get very serious about it on our side. And again, it's not hard to find the information out. Now, as far as again let's go back to this whole thing with the images we saw. And I argue I have a problem with the images they show. Could have done better. It's the digital age. Okay, plenty of different ways that could have been done better. But on top of that, no kind of guessing, guys. Google, I can take it down close enough. I can count the trees on the ground and tell you what crop is in the field. So if you show me, give me a coordinate for that road, I can virtually look at it from above and compare notes. Okay, this is the image that they gave me 32 seconds of. There's a woods on the left. There's a swampish woods on the right. It's a straight road with a dog leg up ahead to the right. I should be able to find that and confirm it on the map from above easily. Easily. But there is no really, there's no effort made to actually perform what is a more effective, survey, but also report as an intelligence report on the activity. There's a lot of speculation. There's all kinds of different pieces that are out there, but the definitive should come from the collector, the person, the people doing the job. Which is why, like we've said, we need to get better at what we're doing. Can't just complain about it. We got to do better. We have to do better. I'm going to do something else here real quick, Larry, before we go any farther. Guys, Airsoft Megastore, okay? Airsoft Megastore. People are asking about sights and AR-15, AR/collapsible sights. You want a set of cheapies, okay, real quick cheapies, and really, to be quite honest, if you look at what you're going to get in the low end from the regular sights, you're going to find that they're pretty much the same thing. Over at Airsoft Megastore, they have AMA pop-up front and rear sight, $8.95. UK Arms, I know UK Arms, they make knockoffs of everything. $10 a set. UK Arms, a little more expensive in black, although I think basically it's the same as that other sight for $10. In black, it's $13 as opposed to $10. Guess which one I'd buy? AMA M-Bus sight, $14.95 front and rear, standard peep and barleycorn, okay? Those are as cheap as you're going to get to give you a secondary sight of some kind to go on your rifle to supplement what you already have purchased in the way of optics. Now let's point something out. Your iron sight is purely, again, an emergency supplement. So any of these would do for that purpose. You're not using them all the time because you're using a red dot, you're red, blue, green like the ones we have available, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a solution. AirsoftMegastore.com. 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 Now, before you go and buy them, beware. Check the shipping to make sure it isn't Twilight Zone. If the shipping is ludicrous and twice the cost or equal to the cost of the item, go shop another location. See what else is out there. But if the shipping is reasonable, then what you're looking at is the low-end type flip-up sights or, low price end, but serviceable enough so you're not just, shooting it like a musket. And it will get the job done, especially with the AR, which is a minimal recoil, / recoil absorbing system. So it is a quick solution to get you on the board with something as a backup to the optics while not putting you out to the point where you can't afford ammunition. Because ammo is what you're really going to get bit on right now. Ammo is what's hurting. Everything else, you can search down. Go ahead.
Just real quick, not to insult you or anything. Do not encourage anybody to buy those rubber plastic Magpul airsoft sights. I don't know if maybe you have never held one in your hand. They're not adjustable. They don't work. They don't line up. There's absolutely nothing. Go to CDNN or one of those. For $19, $20, because I just looked them up before I called you, so I didn't embarrass myself. You get front and rear polymer sights. Hard polymer, just like Magpul. $20. You're putting your life on the line for these $4 sights and $10 sights. Don't do it.
Well, real quick on these, I have had a bunch of the different ones. I've got several thousand of them. actually.
Okay. All right.
But I'm
Well,
just saying,
good enough.
that's why I pointed out there's different manufacturers.
Yeah.
Some of them are the same, others are not. That's what I said. These are crude.
I'm saying I grabbed a pair of $10 front and rear at a gun show for the Magpul, and I just took the rear out and looked at it and slipped back in the box, gave the guy $10, put them on my backpack. Didn't wait till I got home. They're not worth the plastic. They're not worth owning. So that was just my opinion. That's all. But buy some. There's all kinds of metal for under $35.
The problem is whether or not. Okay, I understand, but the problem is whether or not they have them in stock right now, because a lot of them don't.
CDN's got them in stock.
I know. Okay, yes, CDN has some, but again, if they run out again, and even there, some of these, which, like I said, you can experiment. What I'm looking at is you're not going to use the iron sights. Oh, hold on here a second. This is one of the things that for some people, it's going to give you something, just a notch and a hole. That's all it's going to do. I didn't say it was going to be a national match sight. It's a notch and a hole and a lineup, which is better than just kind of eyeballing atop the rail.
That's what I'm saying. They don't even line up for 50 meters. They ain't worth. But so there's a lot of. I'm sure there's listeners who never think, well, yeah, that's a good idea. I better grab them. They get them and they're not solving the problem, let alone wasting money. So just trying to give somebody who I've held in my hand. I tried to. They're junk. Throw them in the fireplace. So, all right, bye.
Okay, very good. And again, if anybody who's got them in the market, my biggest problem has been searching around the system, trying to find what were the lowest end or lower end, comparable price metal sights. If you can find them, they're out. There are some that have been out there. One of them that I actually like, if you could find them, are the 45-degree side mount sights. They're very popular with a lot of people. I just like the idea they're out of the way. That's all I'm looking at, is one way or another, either as a flip-up or even the top plate. If they're a flip-up, they're out of the way. It's something that you use it for the short time you need to do it. You'll probably be going back to optics, probably, but not right away, so that is one of the issues. But at least it's better than trying to lay over a flat top. The other thing that's an option, and I cannot find these. There was one that was being made. Some of the red dot sights, red, blue, green, and some of the other optics that are out there, in fact, you'll see them, I think, with most of the upper end right now, is an iron sight that was built and cast right into the tube for the optics. Now, a company came up with another solution that's similar, which is actually a clip-on that just lays on the top of the sight, so that it's there where you need it, just to line things up. It's not really adjustable. It is just like the one that's on the regular optics, so that if you, all of a sudden, everything went out, battery went out, you don't have anything else, you could just adjust your eye up a bit. Your whole neck probably is going to have to extend a little, and you line up the very crude iron sight that's on the top of the optics. If you look, you'll find these on about 1/3 of the red dot, blue dot, green dots that are out there. Not all of them have it. It is an additional cost if it's made as part of the weapon. But there was another company that did make a simple clip-on. You could leave it on the thing. It was designed so it would just stay right on top of the optics, and it was a crude, non-adjustable gutter with a barleycorn and a pin. Well, barleycorn dot, forgive me. Barleycorn, dot rear. No different from this idea here. It's not designed to go that far. And I think even the idea behind it was, depending on the school of thought, is that you might be just bringing the weapon up if you every nanosecond counts, and that in some cases you just line up the post and the dot, the hole, and pull the trigger, and you'll probably be pretty much on target, or at least close enough. Bad guy's not going to know the difference. So it's a solution, and again, experiment if you want. Some of these, like the AMA M-Bus, are comparable to the just what we mentioned here a minute ago, the Magpul, as far as the quality, the girth, how they move, how well they move. Some do, some don't move as well, and it's a mix. So while we're talking, I'm looking to see if there was something else on the list here. Somebody just popped up. Well, it's the same sites. Actually, it's a comparable site. So if you look, and if you do run into anything that is factory standard, give us a call on the program here. Let us know by model what it is, that you have. Ideally, we're looking for something that's going to be about the price of one magazine. In other words, $10 to $12. That's my logic, one magazine. Otherwise, it's also a little under about a box of ammo right now for an AR. So either way, it's just a purely minimal proposition, and it's designed as a castaway, or actually just riding along until it's needed for a short period of time that it is needed. Anyway, I don't want to take up all this. Larry, jump in there. Anything else, sir? Go ahead.
They had COVID test kits, COVID-19 test kits in 2017, folks. This is the Rothschilds. They did Event 201 in 2019 October. This crap has been planned for years in advance, and they are using this to change the money, fiat currencies, and all over the world to go to digital currencies for further tracking and control. They want to tie this with mandatory vaccines, which Donnie Trump has pushed for. He's buddies with Bill Gates and gave him $1 billion for his Gavi group. You get where this is going? So, yeah, this is serious stuff. They want to change your DNA and make you a tracking beacon, all with one shot. So you cannot take these things, even if it means your job, which many of these places, that's exactly the way they're going to set this up. You got to be ready for it. So, yeah, this is not good what's coming, but you got to be ready for it.
Well, it's interesting that most everybody has pretty well agreed that I've run into that under no circumstances are they going to get the shots. Here's what's fascinating is everybody goes, well, you know, Biden's yapping about the coronavirus. Well, so is Trump. You know what the difference is? Okay, well, let's see. They want to hold you. Well, both of them, actually, we can't say that one wants to. There isn't any difference in terms of either's agenda. There's just one is still able to put words together. The other one has to be led off of the dais when he goes a little crazy in the head, and he's not even in the presidency yet. That's the difference between the two. But they both believe in the same thing. It's just they're trying to, in other words, a dog and pony show with two sides of the same coin. So everybody better be ready for it. Yeah, Biden does the constant yap, and they're doing the extreme propaganda. It's a way, how can they cover up the fact nobody's going to show up for the speaking, events? They've paranoided all of these characters, made them all into hypochondriacs, neurotics with, paranoid tendencies. None of them are showing up around anybody else because they've been told to be totally paranoid about it. Not that there aren't a bunch of Republican rats that are the same way. I run into them every day. But the fact of the matter is that on the other side, the difference between the two is even if Trump were to start or still yap as much as he was about, you got to do this, mask that, whatever, everybody or all these characters are showing up in mass for the rallies for Trump. And social distancing probably wouldn't be a good thing because it make the thing probably even look bigger because they actually have people showing up for the event. For whatever reason, doesn't make any difference what the argument is about that. Bottom line is, if you actually did social distancing, you'd fill, whole vast areas, and for as far as you could see, there'd be human beings. That really probably wouldn't be a good idea for them either. It's bad enough to have the big crowds close the way they are, as far as for, trying to argue that nobody's supporting Donald Trump. I'm not arguing for Donald Trump in that, Mark's for Donald Trump. No, I actually don't see any difference between either one of these characters. Again, if the Democrats propose to burn down the Library of Congress immediately, the only difference between the Republicans and the Democrats is that the Republicans would propose to phase the burning down over a 5-day period because it would be more reasonable and moderate. But they'd still burn down the Library of Congress. And that's just like Trump with the guns, and it's just like Trump with all the rest of this globalist garbage. The only difference, they're being more overt. Instead of the Chinese getting the front seats, the Jewish mob, the Israelis getting the front seat. And they're actually the ones in the China seat, too, which is what nobody wants to talk about. Who the hell do you think is running communist China? Yeah, well, there are some Chinese-looking individuals, but not where the money is concerned. And that's the part they don't want you to even think about. So just a heads up on that one. We can't just complain about the problem. Also, again, solutions. Don't forget, guys, keep an eye on Menards. I know you don't want to go. A lot of people told me, I don't do Menards anymore because they've been so fanatical about the masks. Well, it's paying off. Over at Menards right now, and Larry, if you have one that's close enough to get to, you probably got the same thing going on. Guys, they have pastas. They have noodles, elbow macaroni, spaghetti for 55 cents a pack. And right now, the 11% discount is on Menards all over the place. They have the soup and noodle packs, which basically will feed 4 people comfortably for 55 cents a piece. This is like beef stroganoff, lasagnas, but they're already mixed up. This is all ready to go. Lasagna soups. It can be any number of different things. Those are 55 cents and still 11% off those. In addition, there's the large soup packs, the dried soup packs that, everything's ready to go. They make about 2 gallons of soup. Those were $3.50 a piece. They're down around $2 a piece. Again, you also get the 11% discount, so they're cheaper still. So heads up, right? What's happening is they're hurt. Nobody's going in there and shopping the way they were. When you get everybody paranoid, what few paranoid show up are skittling in, buying minimal, and skittling out. Nobody's doing any time shopping or tour shopping like they used to do. Because of that, all of the, what you might call, well, not necessarily impulse, but calculated shopping is dead. What happens, Menards has a big food section. In that food section, they got a lot of stuff that's getting close dated now. Well, couldn't be perfect, couldn't be better timing considering what's going on heading into this winter. Guys, you can eat for half the price of what you normally would. You do between that and the other discount points we've talked about. You're not spending full price, but you'll have some calories on the shelf, and you'll have good variety on the shelf.
Get what you can while you can, because
this is half the price and less. And again, when you get the 11%, if it comes back quick enough, you go right back there and you use the 11% on the items that 11% discount on more of the discount items. I don't buy anything regular price from them. Whatever we do, only if it's very, very narrow. The fact like I said, they've lost significant money with us. I purchased a lot of other things, especially in construction and maintenance and, whatever, where there's things that I needed. And I've also mentioned some of the items on the air. You'll notice I haven't talked about them. This is the first time I've said, hey, go to. If you got one person who goes in with a mask, go in, use your camera, take a look at what's there, show everybody what's there. Hey, what about this? And everybody decides, you buy a pile of it, bring it out. We bought cases of the stuff. Why? Because it's cheap, and in fact, the one pouch is backpack food material. It's in little retort foil pouches. They're not little, about the size of a Coors package. Okay, the Coors soups and Coors like rice and beans and all the other fun stuff they have. Same kind of idea, but a little fancier product for 55 cents a pouch. You can't beat that. That's why I said all these people saying, I ain't got no money, I can't get ready. Well, then you're not trying real hard. And you're not really making an effort. You need to get up off your dead hind end and move. Because it doesn't take that much. If I can do this and I've got limited time, somebody who's taking care of getting up to speed and you're focusing on the mission, between Facebook Marketplace, the resale stores, and the discounts like this that we're talking about, you could be 100% up to speed, especially as an individual. If I was by myself, oh, hell, I'd be up to my eyeballs in everything that I need. I mean, literally, I'd be way beyond what I need. Because I know how I work in the field. But you know what? I'd have more than enough to keep my butt safe and alive through this winter coming up and beyond. Again, I can't emphasize enough, if you do get these pouches or packets, go to the resale shops, like the church stores, and watch for the cookie cans and the cookie tins that are metal, or the big round cookie tins. You can get them square, rectangular. Watch for people getting rid of them in the recycle bins during the trash day. I get dozens of them. Well, guess what? See those pouches or the noodles? They go in the metal tins, so the bugs and the critters can't get to them, especially the mice. And for minimal cost, I've got a storage system that is indefinite. I can put them anywhere I want. Keep them dry, keep them dark. They'll last forever.
Hey, Mark.
Go ahead, caller. Jump in there.
Hey, this is Carl in Virginia. I recommend that when you go into these stores that are mask Nazis, just wear your military gas mask. It'll be a good practice donning and you know, clearing the mask. And also, hey, no, they want to be mask Nazis, and you go in there and then they start freaking out because you got on a gas mask. You say, no, your mask is not good enough. This one here actually works. Yeah, you know, you need to start like planning your funeral because you are dead, buddy.
Right. You're wearing a coffee filter. I'm wearing personal protective equipment per OSHA. You're wearing a coffee filter. You're very ill prepared.
Yep.
Exactly. Treat them down. Dog them down. You know what, asshat? Get your hind end away from me, because you people are nothing but a walking pile of cesspools. All you are is a pile of bacteria trying to get me infected. Get away from me now. I'm prepared. You are not. That way, like I said, you take the fear and the paranoia to the next level that they, well, no, we're just going through the motions. We aren't really serious. Yeah, I know. That's why I've got the gas mask on. We are at the top, gentlemen. For everybody out there, God bless our republic.
Death eternal to the New World Order.
We shall prevail, ladies and gentlemen. The empire is on the run.
We're on the march, both day and night.
We're on the march, day and night.
Hoorah. Larry, thank you for being there, sir.
Thank you, Mark.
Guys, for everybody out there, organize, arm, equip, and train as militia. Don't forget, again, we've got a number of different locations out there that have ammunition, but you got to spot check them, so point people towards them. They have 32 ACP Norma over at AIM Surplus. You got one of those pocket pistols, grab the ammo while you can. Norma is very high grade. We'll be back tomorrow, same time. Edward taking over, more LTR coming up. God bless. Watch your six.